Greetings, art friends. Today we are going to be working on how to draw the human face. The human face is obviously very important. It's how we interact with each other, and I think we've seen even just more how important it is now that we're walking around with most of our faces covered, how important this face is to us and how we interact. So let's get working.
The human face is one of the shapes that we begin to recognize the soonest in our lives. Babies will see faces and everything, and we tend to see faces and everything as well. When we're looking on the planet Mars or just a car, we see a face. So the face is a rather difficult thing to draw, even though it's fairly simple. Of course, we have the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. So first, let's talk about each element individually. So eyes. Eyes are the windows to the soul. Eyes have a top eyelid, a bottom eyelid, the iris, and the pupil. Now, almost always, you don't see the full iris, you don't see the full circle. If you do, they tend to look shocked, surprised, alarmed, or just generally odd. Now, if we make the pupils very small, then it's like they're in bright light or they're scared, they're concerned. If you make them very large, it kind of gives that idea of innocence. If we're disappearing the eye to the top, put it right there. The moment we make it touch the top, the eye looks a little bit sleepy, which might be something you want, might not be something you want. From there, we can decide, do we want to make the eyes expressive? How we angle these eyes changes the looks of the eyes. Also, we can add the eyelid here, right? What happens when we add these eyelashes? Eyelashes swoop outward. So what I want you to do is pause this video for a minute and just fill your page with eyes, all of the eyes, right? And just kind of experiment around. Maybe some eyes that are actually circular, right? What happens when we add the eyebrows? If the eyebrows are angled up, the eyebrows are angled down. Or if the eyebrows are just normal, right? Eyebrows also make a huge difference. So yeah, do that. Fill your page with eyes. Next one we're going to talk about is the nose. The nose is probably my least favorite. I used to draw noses like this. It's not too great. Then I moved on to like this, you know, you've got your nose like that. It's not too bad, right? But then I started realizing that really what you see the most are these nostrils right here. Those are very dark, and then this line right there. Then we can kind of add these lines. The rest of the nose is shading. So noses you can do a number of ways, but if we were drawing a nose realistically, you don't actually see very many lines. You see the line under the nose, you see the lines on the side of the nostrils, and you see the lines in the nose holes. So those are kind of my favorite way to do noses. Now the icon way to do nose holds this long nose thing right here, and it has this sort of bulbous thing. And you have like you're making parentheses and the little lines right here. So that's another way to do a nose. So noses, you can also, you know, kind of make the nose more bulbous. Right? Noses all have different shapes. If you're looking at the side way to do a nose, you can do kind of coming out like that. And you always have the nostril in that. The larger a nostril is, the more, I guess, masculine it looks, right? From the side, it's going to be like that. Maybe the nose kind of comes out like that, right? So noses are, I don't find noses pretty. So I'm not going to spend too much time on noses, but you kind of get the idea. I would say that the easiest thing to do is to understate the nose. Just give it a little scoop, go to the sides like that, and you have a nose. All right, moving straight along, let's talk about mouths. Now, if you've ever tried to draw a picture of a boy, a male character, and you've wondered why your male character looks female, a lot of the time it's because we draw lines around the lips, right? And that's gonna look female. Now the truth is, even on a female, we don't see these lines. What we see is color. It goes over here, and the top lip is usually a little darker than the light lip, right? Which still looks very female. The basic icon lips that I like to do are 3 scoops, and then you go out on the inner ones. Now, if I'm gonna draw a person, especially if I'm trying to get a likeness, I'm gonna look at what they're doing on this bottom part of the mouth, on the inside part of the mouth, right? So we have that, and then maybe I'll just kind of sketch up on here, right? Because really, unless the person is wearing lipstick, or unless you're really doing color, a lot of this is more shading, even in a pen, than it is lines. But of course, we have just a simple smile. You'll notice most people, when they smile, their lips are actually mainly going down, and then they come up at the ends, right? I want you to look at lips as much as you can. I know a lot of people, you really can't see their mouths very much. But look at mouths and realize that most of the time when we draw lips, we draw what we think we see and not what we actually see. And that's really the same for all of this. When we draw, we want to draw what we're actually seeing and not what we think we see. Now, if we want to do character lips, then we can kind of move from there, because the mouth is going to be very, very expressive, right? What's our mouth going to do? Is our mouth going to be doing that? Now, teeth. If you want to draw someone with an open mouth smile, the teeth are going to be really, if you try and draw each tooth individually, you're going to end up looking like pretty funky, right? And so really you only want to, if you are going to draw teeth, you only want to barely show that they're there, because you really can't see all that much detail. Once again, we're drawing what we think we see. We know that they have all these teeth, and so we give them all of these teeth, but then it's going to look kind of funny, right? Open mouth smiles are definitely the hardest. Much easier to just draw that. All right, moving forward. Where do we put these things? Okay, let's talk about the shape of it. Generally, and every face is different, we start with a circle. This is the cranium, that skull. And then we come down over here for this chin, right? Now, eyes. Everyone wants to put the eyes on the top of the head. They are not in the top of the head. The eyes are in the middle of the head. They're right here. They are also one eye distance apart. So if we could separate this into 5 pieces and put the eyes there, that's where they go. Make sense? Oh, the eye is way bigger, but you see what I'm saying. I'm gonna put the eyebrows in here, kind of eyeball them in there. Ha 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 ha, eyeball the eyebrows. The nose goes right at the bottom of this circle, right? And then the lips come right here in the middle. Now, when you're working on hair, once again, don't draw what you think you see, but yes, draw what you see. Hair tends to be in shapes. Look for shapes of a clump of hairs. What's going on with this shape of hairs? Look at what the overall line is doing. When you want to get a little bit more intense, I want you to really pay attention to the darkest darks, which is usually right under the nose, right on this eye line, right in this lips right here, and the highlights, the brightest highlights. And that's what's going to give you this great thing. Now, you are not going to get good at doing this overnight. Just like any skill, it takes time. So what I want you to do is look in the mirror and draw yourself. Don't draw what you think you see. Draw what you see. And I want you to draw yourself as detailed as you can. And then tomorrow, I want you to do the same thing. And then the next day, do the same thing. If you draw yourself every day this week, you will make progress in just 1 week's time. And imagine how much progress you would make in a month's time, in a year's time. It doesn't matter whether you're 5 years old or 15 years old or 35 years old. The more you work on this, the better you will get. Drawing faces can work really well just for doodling. It can work when you want to, if you wanted to make a comic strip, or if you wanted to express something. If you wanted to actually try and draw a picture of somebody that you love, or somebody that you know, or somebody famous. So I definitely would encourage you to work on this, to keep trying. From there, you can add color, you can add realistic color, or you can add less realistic color. We did faces in one of my classes the other day, and I really had a lot of fun with bright colors. Obviously, this is not realistic. Oh, I see when I drew on it. Look, you can see the lines. That's kind of fun. Oh, I'm right there. Look at that. That's really kind of cool. All right, so happy arting. Enjoy your time. I hope you have a wonderful week, and take care.